Hey there, Wallapini Woman here, and today we are going to talk about purslane. Now, purslane is something that you're going to find in disturbed dirt, and I think just about every gardener knows what purslane looks like, but they may not know that it is probably the best thing you can have in your garden. And I mean probably one of the healthiest things you can eat, even including your vegetables that you've planted and probably moved the purslane out of there for. Doesn't make a lot of sense. The medicinal uses early on were for uterine bleeding. It would slow down the period and slow down the amount. But recently they found that it helps regulate your blood sugar for diabetes, and also has some bronchial properties that are outstanding and used for asthma. And I would think that anyone that had long COVID and had a hard time clearing their lungs might want to eat this on the regular too. Now, you do have to eat this like in vegetable amounts regularly to experience the benefits of this thing, or you can take a tincture. I'm going to go ahead and make a tincture out of it that I can mix with my mullein tincture, and that's like an extra zap for the pulmonary system and the bronchial system. It also, if you mash it up and use it as a poultice or use a tincture topically, you can clear up any kind of fungal infections. It lowers your cholesterol. So if you've got high cholesterol, this is something that you would want to eat regularly. So let's go take a look. I do have a whole patch of it growing in my garden. Let's look at it so you can identify it and start growing it in yours. So this is my purslane / looks like I've got a couple volunteer lettuce heads / pickling cucumber bed. Now, the purslane, this is ideal for pickling right now. And if you look at it really close, you'll see these little tips, and it's kind of like a succulent. But you can just snip some off. I do when I'm in the garden. Just snip a little bit off and take a bite of it. You can just eat it like this. It tastes kind of lemony, a little slimy at the end, which I don't find offensive. But kind of lemony. It makes a nice addition to salads. It's also can be used as a thickening agent in your jams, jellies, soups, gravies, all of that. So it's really good. It's tasty. I'll eat it when I'm out in the garden doing some weeding or whatever. And then I'll also eat it in my salads all chopped up. Now, when you're harvesting purslane for pickling, you do want to let it get really big. But some of these bigger leaves are going to be maybe a little more bitter, and I'll just use them in a tincture. But you definitely want the stems this big for pickling. You need them bigger rather than smaller to successfully pickle them. Otherwise, just eat away any time of year. You can harvest it. This stuff, because I live in zone 8, it will hardly ever die back, and I'm really fortunate in that. Now, when you're harvesting purslane, you don't want to pull it up. You just want to snip it off, okay? And don't snip all of them off, because they will keep growing. Your bigger ones are going to be down in the dirt, though. See, look at that. And that's the ones you want for pickling. And then I'll use the leaves that the stems that are too small for pickling. I'll go ahead and put them in a tincture. Here's one all by itself, so you can kind of see what it looks like, kind of those red stems. When you see this coming up in your garden, let it be the ground cover. It's a great ground cover. Let it be, let it grow, and go ahead and plant whatever else you're going to plant in there. But this stuff, this has more antioxidants in it than just about anything on the planet. So let the purslane grow, people, and eat it. Okay, I think this is the last of the stuff I'm going to harvest for pickling. And I've got a nice basket full, so this will give me a couple pints of it, or a couple, maybe 1 or 2 quarts. And I still have plenty in here to eat in salads and just nibble on while I'm out here. So this is one heck of a good survival weed. So I really do encourage you to get to know it, recognize it. You just might need it one day to survive on. I washed the purslane in this bowl and cleaned it, and what you're going to see there at the bottom is all these cute little tiny seeds. That is not dirt. These are actually seeds. And so this water is going to go to an area that I want some purslane to grow in. Simple as that. I'm going to go disturb some area of earth in my flower garden and go ahead and put this down as a ground cover. Because who doesn't want more purslane, right? As you can see, I'm putting the stems in the pickling jar and then the smaller stems and leaves in the tincture jar. And it's just easier to process them at the same time. That way you use up the whole plant. You can eat the stems, the leaves, the roots, the flowers. Everything is edible. The seeds on this plant, and it's all beneficial. So, but the stems are best pickled when they're this big. Otherwise, they're just kind of bitter, but they're yummy pickled. To make the tincture, we're just going to take alcohol that you can consume and just pour it right over the top and cover the product in there. Now this is over here what we're gonna pickle, and I've got to prepare some actual cucumbers to pickle too, so we'll do that in a minute. Be sure to mark it and date it, because look, could you tell me what this is? No, but it's a mullein tincture, and I started it a month ago. So always mark and date your tinctures. You don't want your product to stay in the tincture for more than probably 4 weeks. You can go longer on some of them, like this mullein could probably go 6 weeks, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it and just pull the product out and wring it out, and then I'll have mullein tincture. So we'll be looking to pull this purslane tincture out and pull the actual product out of the liquid in about 4 weeks. So put it on your calendar. Just a real quick thing, when you're pulling the plant product out of your tincture, probably one of the easier ways I found is by doing it with one of these coffee thingies. You just go ahead and push this down in it all the way and pour your tincture back out. I kind of made a mess, but this is mullein tincture. Great way to extract the plant matter. It's with one of these little coffee presses. Okay, that's all I had to say about that. All right, I've got my favorite pickling recipe with white vinegar, and it's got some spices in it. I also put white onion, and then I also put some grape leaves, and that helps keep it crispy. Got my other things going too, so these will be, put the lids on, and then we'll put them into a water bath for 10 minutes to go ahead and can and seal. Then they can go right on the shelf once they've cooled. So this is what it looks like once it's out of its water bath. And the top, it went from a outie to an innie. It snapped in, so once it's completely cooled, it's still hotter than blazes. But once it's cooled, it'll go into the pantry to be consumed sometime this winter. And I'll take it out and let it cool down in the fridge. Take it out of the pantry, let it cool in the fridge, and eat it that way. It's delicious. So just use your favorite pickling recipe, or you can even look online for pickled purslane. I'm sure there are recipes by the dozens. Thanks for joining me on Wallapini Woman. Go get growing.